Hey y'all, I'm back with the Project Life process video, and this is going to be focusing on November 2016, where I documented one thing a day that I was thankful for. So instead of doing regular Project Life for the month of November, what I did was I took a picture every day and then I journaled about it. And I pre-printed my journaling, so I'll walk you through that in just a second. But I posted these photos on Instagram, so if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw it and you probably remember what I'm talking about. I basically took a picture every day and then put the date on the photo. So the photos came when I printed them, they already had the date on them because I used an app to do that. And then I pre-printed all of my journaling. And what I did with my journaling is I basically printed it out exactly how it was written on the Instagram post. So whatever was on the caption is what I included on the journaling, and that made life so much easier. So I want to kind of walk you through how I did that in just a second. But first, I needed a title card, and so what I'm doing is I used Riley's ABCs to write out thank you or thankful, and then those are by Fawn, by the way. And then I used a 3 and an O from a Studio Calico Alpha set, and then a little wood veneer from Hobby Lobby. They have some really cute stars and heart wood veneers that are just by the Paper Studio, and I have quite a bit of those, and so I use those. And then I also used a stamp set by Elle Edwards, and it's from her story stamp. So I think I'm correct in saying this, but I think that if you're not subscribed to this story kit or you don't purchase it when it comes out like month to month, then I don't know that you have access to it, but I could be wrong. They may still be like available, and so I'll link everything that I possibly can down below. I'm not really sure like how that works if she just sells out and then she's done. I don't think that she restocks them if I can remember correctly. So right now I'm just using different products. Some are from her story kits and some are from just different things that I've purchased on Studio Calico. And right now I'm just using some, I think those might even be Citrus Twist's little chipboard stickers from their shop. And so I am adding some sequins because what I did was I used a little chipboard sticker that said magical, and then I just added some little sequins. I thought that went well with it. This stamp set is from Studio Calico, and it has like a little label in it, and it has the word love and hello, and I think awesome. And so I just went ahead and like stamped love several times. I stamped love because I'm trying to think. I remember having like way back when having an obsession with QVC, and that's where I got the picture that I took was of some tools that I bought, some kitchen tools, and so that's probably why I used that. I'm going through this pretty quick because this video is actually quite long, but I want to kind of talk to you about the journaling. So obviously I mentioned that the journaling is the same thing as what I wrote in the caption section of the Instagram post. And how I did that was I basically opened up Pages on my computer. I don't use Word because I don't have it, but I used Pages, and I created 3x3 text boxes, and I basically just went to town with typing. Now you'll notice that some of the typing is at the bottom, some is in the middle, some is at the top, some take up the entire 3x3 square, and that's exactly how I wanted it because I didn't want it to be too uniform, and I didn't want every card to look the same, and I wanted to be able to play with the embellishments. And so I used just like a typewriter font. I love the way that it turned out. I think I probably used either like traveling typewriter or mom typewriter or something like that. I'm also pulling just some bits and pieces that I have in my stash that I've had for a long time, and I'm using some cut-aparts from Hip Kit Club, and I'm also using some little stickers from Tim Holtz, the Ideology little phrase booklets or whatever. You can get those at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And so now I'm using a little flare badge that came in the Brave Story Kit by Elle Edwards, and I use quite a bit of her stamps in this process. And like I said, I will try my best to link the supplies that I use below, especially the stamps, because I know those are the things that people most likely want to get their hands on, whereas the other embellishments and things are probably just stuff that I've had in my stash for a while. So I'm using a little wood veneer, and I'm not really quite sure where that wood veneer came from, but I'd be willing to bet that it came from Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And then now on this next journaling card, I realized that I knew that I had typed up quite a bit because it was a really meaningful post. And so I decided to take a piece of vellum and just, it was a colored piece of vellum from Michael's, and just plop a shape right in the middle. That way it doesn't cover up the journaling, but there's a little something extra there. And I'm going to continue adding little bits and pieces, and using just stuff from my stash, and of course the stamps. Here I've added a little phrase or word that they're cut apart words from the Hip Kit Club. I think they were exclusive, I think maybe November possibly. And I just put what and when, or where and when maybe. And I put, that was our anniversary, so I put the date of our anniversary, and then I also put where we went for our anniversary. So like I said, I'm using quite a bit of stamps. I noticed that the first page I did not use very many stamps, and then I realized pretty quickly that I was, or maybe it was the second page, and I was missing out on that, and so I went back into using them. And for the rest of the layout, or the rest of the spreads, I do end up using quite a few stamps. That stamp that I just used was from Citrus Twist, and there's those little mini stamps that sometimes come in their kits, but also you can purchase them on their own too. And also using this little Studio Calico stamp set that has like week and then numbers and then the days of the week and then the months as well. I'm using different inks from Purkey. Those are Hero Arts inks. I've said this before, and I could be wrong, but I don't know where you can purchase those. You can try Joann's.com, and then Hero Arts, of course, still has like their little small cubes, but I don't think Purkey does those anymore unless she's restocked. So I'll double check, and if I find them, I'll link them below. I also used a little, why do I keep saying that? A stamp by Elle Edwards, and I think it says The Lens of Love, I believe, or My Lens of Love or something. And so that came in the Lens Story Stamp Kit. I'm looking for something to add right above that because I left that place blank, and so I wanted to just add something, and I put a phrase that says warm and cozy. And then next up, I'm working on the post about loving the Hallmark channel, and so I am going to use a stamp set by Elle Studio, and I use some of the red ink, and then I'm going to use some purple ink as well. And I like switching up colors. I don't often pull blues and purples, and I love when I have the opportunity to do that. And so I use tons of different colors throughout this spread, and I didn't really use like yellows. I used some oranges and then reds, blues, and purples, and I really loved the way it turned out, even though that was outside of my comfort zone. Pulling from this little book by Amy Tangerine, and it's I think it's the Happy Life, the Oh Happy Life collection, unless I'm making that up. But it's been a while since I've had that sticker book for a while. So, and then I used a little sticker from one of the Elle Edwards kits, and I think that's the Brave Story kit. Now I'm going to stamp out this label from Elle Studio. And I'm going to put something right on the inside of it. I think that's from there. Or, you know what? I could be wrong. That might be a Citrus Twist stamp set. It's either Elle Studio or Citrus Twist. So I'll look and see. But I went ahead and put Good Eats there. I stamped out a label, and then I put Good Eats on the inside, I think. It's hard for me to see what I'm doing now at this point because it's been a little bit since, well, actually I finished up this morning, but I was doing it last night, and I can't remember exactly. I used so many stamps that I can't remember exactly what they say. But that one, the one I was talking about, said so excited about, and then I stamped on the inside Good Eats. And then that one I just used a little coffee cup, and I put it right inside of a label just to add a little touch of like pink. And then I stamped below that in one of the Citrus Twist stamp sets, the little mini ones, I stamped Late Nights and Cozy Sweater. And then again, I used some of the Elle Edwards stamps for that other card. I believe it was the lens stamp set. Now I'm looking through some of the Elle Edwards kit items, and then also some other chipboard embellishments that I have in my stash. I like to mix the chipboard with something a little less dimensional, just because I think it could be a little bit too much, especially for pocket pages or for pocket squares like this. But adding like a little just piece of ephemera or a punched shape with a staple, I think really made that card come together. I'm going to use this Elle Studio stamp set. It's all about food, and for some reason I could not get that middle part stamped. So I was like, what is on there? I realized that I think it's because the middle part is not as dimensional as the outer parts, and so it didn't get an even stamp or an even impression. And so what I did was, and I practiced a couple more times. You could tell I was not giving up on it. And I realized that I probably just had to push down really hard on that stamp. To fix that mistake, though, I added a little star in the middle and then a little phrase sticker, and you can still see what the stamp says. And I really like the way that turned out. It was kind of a happy mistake there. And then this one's about the music I was listening to. And so I used a little music note from a Studio Calico stamp set. I love that stamp set, and you probably know that if you follow my planner videos. I use that stamp set quite a bit, and my daughter wanted me to pick her up, so that's why I had to like turn off my phone. And now I'm on to the third and final spread, or actually this is going to be the third pocket, but I think this is going to be front and back. So looking through this other bin that I have to see if I could find anything. I think I was looking for something particular. I can't really remember. But I realized that I was stamping on the wrong card, that I was focusing on the picture that was to the right, but that wasn't the journal. That journaling did not go with that picture. The journaling went with the picture from before. So I had to cover that up, and it was an easy fix. I just took a label, and I am going to adhere that label to right on top of where I put tradition. And then instead I put a label that says reading, and that focused on the card or the photo before, which was about my daughter reading. And that made it 10 times better. Now I can focus on the picture that's right there in the middle on the top, and I stamp out tradition, and that tradition stamp, I believe, came from one of the food stamp sets, and I think it might be the Eat stamp set by Elle Edwards from that particular kit. And I think that was about 2 months ago. I want to say it was in March, maybe. And then now I'm taking another Studio Calico stamp set and stamping out, I think that may say like what's happening right now or happening right now. And then you can do a little rating, these little rating hearts, or you could use the stars because it also came with stars. And I went ahead and just colored in the hearts and put an arrow. I'm going to use a little chipboard piece here, and I accidentally took off the adhesive, so I'm going to add some glue on the back of that, and then I'm going to add that, I'm going to adhere that right to the card, and then add a few stars. And those stars are from Elle Edwards. I'm going to go back to my stamp set that I was just using by Studio Calico, and I'm going to make sure that I have all the black ink off of it because I could tell that I hadn't wiped that very good. And I'm going to stamp this in orange, and that's as simple as it's going to get. Is I'm just going to stamp it and be done with that card. For this one, I wanted to use this acrylic stamp set. It's not photopolymer, so it's not the best quality, but I'm actually really pleased with it. I think it's by Pink Paisley, and I got that from Hobby Lobby. I think it said maybe You and Me or Moments, I Love You So Much, or something like that. And that post was about my daughter. And then I'm going to use the Lens Story stamp by Elle Edwards and just simply stamp it in this really pretty blue. I don't know about y'all, but I love that blue color, and I don't know if it's just not unlike any blue I've ever seen. I guess that's why. But I went ahead and adhered that heart down, and now I'm going to start with that back side. Okay, so I'm done with my photos, and so now I need to fill up the rest of the spaces because this is going to be the end of my 2016 project life. And the reason I say that is because I'm doing December Daily, and I'm doing it. I haven't done it. I've done a few spreads in it, but I have not finished it, and so I'd have to go back and do that. But this is going to be the end of the 2016 project life, so I need to just end it on a good note. And so I'm ending it with a little bit of journaling that I typed up about November. And then I'm also going to just make some filler cards, and it's going to be as simple as that. I hope you guys enjoyed this process. I'm going to continue doing that and pretty much be done. Again, I'll try to link all the stamps that I use below and anything else that I can find. And I hope you guys enjoyed this process, and let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys soon.